Well, thank you so much, Maitreyi, and all of you, my family in Dallas. It's just wonderful, always to spend time with you. For me as well, felt very familiar to meet you guys when you were in Assisi. And the truth is that we have already met, of course. We have been coming for incarnations. And we also spent a lot of time in the astral world. So, of course, how could we not have that instant connection? First of all, I want to say you guys are having so much fun there, so many activities. I mean, that garage sale, I would love to be part of that. And what people bring and all those snacks. And I mean, it's just so wonderful outreach vehicle. I mean, just wonderful. In fact, I'm going to propose this in Assisi as well, if we could do something similar. Well, today the topic is quite interesting and very powerful. And I was reading recently that victory, of course, requires the inner strength to act on your beliefs, even when facing opposition, fear, or difficulty. There is one person that comes to mind when I read those words. Swami Kriyananda. It describes his entire life. This is actually his victory was to face all these oppositions and fears and difficulties just because he fought on what he believed. And he believed in the community's movement. I heard recently Naya Swami Ananta from Ananda village. He shares this story of when Swamiji came to Sacramento for the first time, and he started, to share these teachings. I think it was in Rancho Córdoba, if I remember well. So there was no place for Swamiji to start. So he knew one person, and this lady invited Swamiji to give the first Ananda Yoga classes or Raja Yoga. I think it was Ananda Yoga, and it was in her own living room. So this went on for a couple of months until Swamiji found the next place where he could keep growing the work, master's work. So time went by. 30 years later, this woman, or 40 years later, this woman comes to Ananda village. No, sorry, she comes to Ananda Sacramento. And by then, Naya Swami Ananta and Maria were leading the work there. And this woman introduces herself to Ananda like, I was the woman who offered her the living room to Swami Kriyananda to, to give the yoga classes. And it went on for a couple of months. And then I never heard back again. I just disconnected a little bit. And I have a question. Did anything happen? Did ever happen at Ananda? did, did Swamiji, after all, did something? What happened with that? I never heard from it. And Ananda said, well, actually, it did happen. And in a big way. Now, of course, the rest is history. We have our work all over the world. But I want to bring out the point that it was that conviction that Swami Kriyananda had when he was 22. And he went to that party, in that when Master gave this lecture to 800 people. He was there as a young monk, just listening. And when he heard these words of Master, the community spiritual movement, world brotherhood colonies, this will change the world. And Swamiji always says this. There were 800 people there. But I felt so moved, so convicted. So I knew in my heart, this must happen. Not only this must happen, someone will manifest that. He took that to heart and he told to himself, I vow from today onwards to commit, to make of my guru's vision a reality. I always said, Swamiji never wrote an email to Master. Master, I have been just meditating. I feel inspired by this. I have this. What do you think? He never told to anybody. He never proclaimed. Just to himself, an inner vow. And how powerful that conviction must have been that everything he did afterwards, especially after leaving SRF, was just about fulfilling that vow. How much courage took from zero, with no friends, with no money, with absolutely, let's pause for a moment here. Not just with no money, no friends, but with people who by then hated you. Let me put it like this, people who really didn't like him. And not just for 1 year, 2 or 3 years. That negativity and anger and resistance to Swamiji kept building over the years. It never left Swamiji's aura. That was always being projected vibrationally at a thought level towards everything Swamiji tried to accomplish after he left SRF. So Swamiji not only had to face just the practical, worldly, material opposition, he had to fight with many unseen forces, just one person. How much determination requires to just not just move through, but to accomplish something that ultimately will become successful. And successful not in the sense of materially successful, but victory here we are talking about self-realization. Self-realization requires tremendous courage. And all that he did, that conviction, has been infused within Ananda. That's the consciousness of Ananda. And that's not a conviction about our path to freedom. I remember when I came to Ananda for the first time and fell in love. Seriously, no with Swami Kriyananda, but with what Swami Kriyananda represented for me. The example of a complete, dedicated, egoless disciple, someone who is willing to give his life for his guru. And I think he brought that, and many of us are bringing that from that lifetime when we were with Arjuna and we were soldiers and we were trained under that consciousness of, dying if need be for Dharma, for the right cause. And that's, in a sense, impregnated in all master's disciples. It's part of our heritage, in a sense. It's part of our DNA. And Swamiji had that. Also, Master had it, of course, but Swamiji had that. When I came to Ananda, I was so convinced that this would take me to deeper aspects of freedom within myself, that I knew there were steps I would need to take in order to achieve the victory that intuitively knew I wanted to achieve, the victory of the soul over the ego. And I remember seeing my life and seeing what I had in front of me. To me, it felt obvious that the only real action at that point, if I really wanted that kind of victory I was searching, was to follow Swami Kriyananda. There was no other choice. If I really wanted that, to me, there was no other option. It took a lot of courage to start taking those decisions that would align with that outward decision of I need to follow Swami Kriyananda. And those small steps haven't stopped since I started following Swami Kriyananda. Because as the reading said, the entire journey of self-realization, of that victory that the soul is achieving, is ultimately to come out of that familiar warmth, as you were describing, that familiar warmth, that sense of security. Where is it coming from? And every step of the way that we are taking, it's going to boil down to that. If there is a stage where you are becoming familiar in that familiar warmth, God is going to step in and test if all that we say in our love for God and our conviction that in this incarnation we want to give it our all. That's how it works. And I don't say this just to make people afraid of the spiritual path or being worried like, oh my God, where I'm getting into. Not at all. In fact, every step of the way should have the purpose to get us freer and freer and freer. I remember Swami Kriyananda, even with all the energy that he put out all the obstacles he had to face, even with his own health, his own everything. And he gave his all, and he was so proud of where Ananda where Ananda was going, or the people living in Ananda, people associated with Ananda. How happy he was that that vow that he took 60 years ago was achieving that completion, was coming to that completion, which was to help other people to achieve their own self-realization. But Swami, at the end of his life, and he said that many times too during, like, everything that I have done it for my guru, but I could leave Ananda any moment and never look back and wouldn't change anything in my heart. And sometimes we define self-realization according to the things that we have, that we do, that we define how we define ourselves. But bit by bit, self-realization will be all those things that we are not, that are not part of who we are in essence. I was thinking recently, as you were mentioning, my tray, about my first book. Well, if everything goes well, in December, I will do the publishing of my second book. It's all about Swami Kriyananda, stories that I wasn't able to share in the first book because I didn't feel confident enough. And I think there were things that I was still missing in my understanding, and it has taken me 12 years to actually now come to a point where I can share the lesson that I was learning unfiltered, very impersonally. And that, if everything goes well, in December, the book will come out. The first book was titled My Heart Remembers, Swami Kriyananda. This second book is called My Soul Remembers, Swami Kriyananda. And it's kind of a sequel of the first one. Just stories. Pomponleda, 24 stories. And just deviating a little bit from the subject, because I feel somehow inspired to share more a little bit about this book. And maybe if you guys would like, I can share one story from the book if you feel okay. And the most interesting thing about this book is that most of the stories and all the lessons I learned in those 4 years that I served Swamiji was not so much what he said or what he told me personally, but most of those lessons were learned by what he didn't say, by that moment of silence, but by that pause where he didn't reply to a particular comment that I made. And I have been fascinating to realize that that's actually how God and Guru are teaching us constantly in that silence. And if we are able to listen carefully, and I'm not talking only during meditation, if we really train ourselves to hear what life is teaching us, I think we will grow spiritually way faster. Because now looking back, I don't see any difference in the way Swamiji is teaching me now, as he was teaching me when he was in the physical body. Because his style of teaching me hasn't changed. It's not that he says something there or taught me something there, that he's not doing it now. And that's something that has infused me with a deeper enthusiasm for wanting to keep listening more carefully. Of course, being with Swamiji was a blessing, and his presence indeed accelerated that process very much, because the only purpose that Swamiji was in our lives, as any real master would, was to accelerate things, because he had that magnetism we didn't have. We still are working on our spiritual magnetism, to attract those circumstances and particular karmas, that will help us to learn those lessons. We are magnetizing ourselves so things can come to us a little bit more, strongly, in the sense that we are able to really see what we are working on within ourselves. And Swamiji had that. So wherever he went, wherever he was, had that impact. His magnetism, kind of came to ours and accelerated. And still until this day, even if Swami Kriyananda is not in the body, when I pray to him, when I talk to him, when I meditate on him, my magnetism accelerates. That hasn't changed. And it's a fun thing to practice. And of course, we practice it here or there, mostly when we are going through difficult times. But this should be a given, something that we do daily. I mean, of course, with Swamiji, but especially with Master. I mean, I assume that's what we want to do. And if we are not doing it, why are not we doing it? Then there is no room for complaints when things are not going well. So anyway, coming back to the book, of course, being in his presence was incredible and very challenging. I don't know if you have heard that story of Uma. I don't know if you know Naya Swami Uma now. She's living here with us in Assisi. And she tells this story of many years ago. They were together in a small gathering with Swamiji, and Swamiji was talking about Master. And, everyone was just thrilled hearing so many stories of his time with Master and how it was to be with him. And Uma at some point said, Swamiji, tell us how really seriously, how it was to be with Master, to be in his presence. And Swamiji paused for a moment, and then he replied very seriously, very uncomfortable. And yes, I'm comfortable because he was just trying to take us out of that familiar warmth, to make sure that the ego doesn't feel just cozy, uncomfortable. I was thinking, if you are open to it, if you say yes, I could read you a story of one of those episodes that reflects and you can see how it was to just on a daily basis to be with Swami Kriyananda. Is it okay if I read it? All right. Okay. I have it here. 1 second. Okay, this story, it's titled More and Better. This is the time when, towards the end of his life, maybe, towards the end. Soon after Swamiji, this is the time when Swamiji finished to record the videos on the Bhagavad Gita in the Ashta channel in India. Soon after Swamiji finished recording a series of television programs about the Bhagavad Gita for the Ashta channel in India, a TV producer from Dubai expressed interest in airing these shows on his channel too. This was too good an offer to pass up. He wanted something unique, though, to distinguish his shows from the ones that would air on Asta. After much discussion, Swamiji came up with a creative solution to make new introductions for each of the Dubai shows. The intros would be a slideshow of photographs he had taken during his travels around the world, with one of his musical compositions as the soundtrack. Swamiji had an astonishing collection of 15,000 photos. At the same time, Swamiji was working on another ambitious project, to make a movie. He had already written the script. It was about a young man who had come to believe there was no purpose to life, but found hope and meaning again through Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings. Bringing these teachings to the big screen, Swamiji felt, was a way to share his guru's message with a wider audience. Swamiji had invited a few devotees to assist with the film project. None of them had any experience in filmmaking. They didn't even know where to start. Still, progress was made. In fact, things were happening very quickly. Swamiji met with several directors and producers, exploring the direction this energy could take and seeking a professional team that could bring the project to life. It wasn't unusual for Swamiji to move energy in many directions at the same time, sending out rays of inspiration to draw spiritually ready souls to a more meaningful experience of life. During this period, though, Swamiji's health was not at its best. For those of us around him, it was a constant challenge to keep up with the energy he radiated while still ensuring that his medical needs were met. Miriam, a highly skilled nurse, was part of his staff, traveling with him wherever he went. Swamiji's response to concerns about his health was always the same. My life is to serve God, or He will take care of this body. And I'm not afraid of death. As long as I'm alive, I won't stop serving my Guru. Balancing care for Swamiji's physical health with his indomitable spirit was always a very delicate task. At that time, we were staying at the Ananda community Assisi, Italy. My own recollections of that period are very vivid. I was always tired, struggling to keep up with the whirlwind of energy Swamiji had unleashed. Movies, TV shows, and more. I confess, not proudly, that occasionally I escaped downstairs to my bedroom under the pretense of needing the bathroom, but really just to lie down for a few minutes and catch my breath. Then I would go back upstairs and dive into his energy again. One night, just as I was eagerly anticipating getting some rest, Swamiji said, "You know, I need someone to put together the slideshow introductions for the Dubai TV shows. Maybe you could do that?" I was exhausted, already juggling countless responsibilities. This project would mean working late into the night. It felt as though a heavy stone had placed on my shoulders. It was like doing more homework after finishing all my homework. Besides, I wasn't qualified. Technology and I were not friends. I often pressed the wrong keys, sometimes deleted important files, spent hours on tasks that others could complete in minutes. It seemed like a recipe for disaster. I wanted to suggest that someone else do it. Yet, I found myself replying, "Okay, Swamiji, I will give it a try." Dragging my feet, I retired to my room, wondering how I would summon the energy for this new responsibility. The next day, Swamiji's secretary helped me to locate the 15,000 photos. To create a 2-minute introduction, to create a 2-minute introduction, I had to sift through all of them, select a few, and then match them with one of Swamiji's 400 pieces of music. It was a daunting task, far beyond what I felt capable of doing, but I was willing to try. That evening, I rolled up my sleeves and began. It took me 2 hours to create a single 2-minute slideshow, but somehow I finished the first draft. The next morning, Swamiji was eager to see it. He liked it, but suggested a few changes, explaining where and when he had taken each of the photos. After that, each day followed the same pattern. During the day, I served Swamiji. Late into the night, I worked on the introductions. For each one, Swamiji offered feedback, helping me understand his artistic sense and the deeper meaning he sought to convey through the images. To my surprise, the more I worked on the project, the more energetic I felt the next day. In 2 weeks, I created 20 introductions. By the end, Swamiji's feedback had come down to just a few minor adjustments. For the last few, he simply said, "Well done." I was proud of what we had accomplished. All those late nights, all that effort, it was worth it. Then we received an email from the Dubai producer. Personal issues, he said, would delay the project indefinitely. The program never aired. The introductions were never used. Still, I gained so much from the process. The project taught me the huge impact visual images and music can have on our consciousness without the need for words or intellectual or philosophical explanations. Through Swamiji's feedback, I was able to refine my sensitivity and attune my consciousness to his. Swamiji had asked me to do something I felt unqualified to do, stretching me beyond my perceived limitations. He was training me to say yes when all I wanted to say was no. And then, to take it a step farther, right attitude alone isn't enough. we also have to learn to do things well. I had discovered one of life's greatest secrets. Our level of willingness has a proportional effect on our level of energy and joy. He also gave a beautiful affirmation. I welcome everything that comes to me as an opportunity for further growth. Living with Swami Kriyananda was a daily exercise in breaking free from self-imposed limitations and discovering one's highest potential. The key was learning to say yes.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that story and a glimpse into your new book and very happy. When did you say it will be released again, hopefully?
Well, now we'll be in Italian in December, and I guess next year, or maybe before in English as well.
Okay.
It's written in English, of course, as you can see, but since I'm here in Europe, we'll go first with the Italian translation. So the moment it's in English, I'll let you all know.
Okay. And then hopefully Spanish too.
Yes, Spanish too, one language at a time.
Well, if it's okay with you, we'd like to open it up for the last few minutes to a few questions, a little interaction with our group here. And I think Jocelyn, I even saw her hand. Was that right? You don't have anything you want to ask?
Like, I really want a Spanish book from her.
Oh, she's saying she really wants a Spanish book from you.
Just go say hi. Say hi and introduce yourself.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you? This is Jocelyn. I started here in the Ananda Sangha house in Dallas this year, and I'm serving here, and I'm learning a lot from this beautiful family.
She's being very humble. She's actually going to be taking my place when I leave in a couple months. And she's an amazing devotee. And the Sangha house, the community here, is in great hands between her and the rest of our ministerial team. So we feel very blessed that that Master brought her here to us. So anyway, I just had to
Thank you so much.
She say yes. She say yes.
She said yes in a big way, and she doesn't know what she's getting into either. No.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her.
No, just wanted to say that I was really inspired by your first book. So I'll be very happy to read the second one. I'm from Mexico, so whenever you have opportunity to write in Spanish, of course, I will enjoy that too. And just gratitude on sharing your path with Swamiji, and it's so inspiring. So it's really nice watching you through this Zoom. Thanks so much.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
So Atul here from Houston. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, great.
Yes.
So we have to get off here in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to take this opportunity to ask a question on behalf of Houston, who we have gathered here, everyone in the background. I don't know if you can see the folks.
Yeah, wonderful. Hello, Houston family.
Hi, Nayayani. Good to see you again, and long time no see, huh? But no, thank you for that. It was really powerful and inspiring, and your words go a long way. So thank you. And the question, you shared about the new book. I was just hoping if you could share one of your favorite memories from your first book to share with the Houston groups who maybe inspire them a little bit. For all of us, of course.
Okay, so I assume that everyone here has read my first book. Is that correct? Even though
not everybody.
No.
Okay, not everybody.
We have.
Okay, so one of the stories, many stories touched me deeply, but one of the stories I would say It's very hard, but let me say the story that happened at the airport when Swamiji had to send me to that lady who lost her passport. Do you guys remember? Okay, so to
Yep.
share the story very briefly, we were at the airport and I was sitting with Swamiji. We were both of us alone. At that, Swamiji was very late in his life, and of course, I was 24 hours next to him, just making sure that anything he needed, whether to go to the bathroom, whether water, whether, anything, I was always there. It was very um, challenging leaving him alone because also his balance. So someone or the other, always some of us had to be there. At this time, we were at the airport, both of us alone, sitting together. And Swamiji looks towards the end of the place where we were, and he sees a lady who is crying. Like you could see she was very agitated. And he said, have you seen that woman? Like, could you please go there and see what's happening? If she needs any help, she's alone. Let's just find out what's happening. So it was a little bit far from where we were. And I said, well, Swamiji, are you okay? I'll go, but I'll come back quickly because I didn't want to leave Swamiji alone. So I went to that woman. I asked, is there everything okay? And she said, I have lost my passport, my phone. I don't now. I cannot catch my other flight. I don't know how to reach my family. The police is coming. I don't speak. I mean, she was very emotionally um, agitated. And I just say, don't worry. We are here, there. If you see that, he's my my grandfather. I said, that gentleman is my grandfather. So we are there. If you need anything. And she said, no, the police is coming now. This. I said, well, don't worry. You are now. Everything will be taken care of. Remember, we are there if you need anything. Just don't worry. So I went back to Swamiji and I explained him the situation. And I said, Swamiji, don't worry. The police is already coming. They are going to take care of her. She's fine. No problem. So then Swamiji, within a minute, I was about to bring out my book just to be there to read. He just wasn't satisfied with that answer. I think he saw in my energy that I was just trying to brush off the situation and I just wanted to be there. I didn't want to just bother by anything else. And then Swamiji told me, I see her. She is not feeling well. She's too nervous. Why don't you just go there and stay a little time, just spend some time with her until she calms down? And I say, well, Swamiji, I don't want to leave you alone. What about if you need to go to the bathroom? It's a little bit far. He said, just go, just go. And I say, okay, I'll go. So I went back to the lady. I sat next to her. I chat a little bit, I think she started to calm down a little bit more. And when I felt that, after 10 minutes, 10 minutes, I would say maximum, yeah, 10 minutes, I thought, okay, now I'm going back because my mind, even though I was with her, a part of me was, Swami, I just couldn't, not just for the soul connection we had that you just, we are always united, but it was always, I was responsible for Swamiji at the airport. If anything happened to him, if he, anyway, I always felt very responsible also for his physical body. So I was with her, but a part of me was looking at Swami, but talking to her, then Swami. And then after 10 minutes, when I felt that she was more calmed down and relaxed, and said, I'm so glad you are feeling better. Remember, we are there if you need anything, you need anything. Nice to meet you. I just, give her like a little tapping or hug. I don't know why, but there was like a physical exchange. No, I just had her like, well, be strong or something like that, I said. I went back to Swamiji and I said, Swamiji, she's fine. She's fine. Don't worry. I think now we spoke with her. Said, Swamiji, it's fine. Now you can relax, because I could see like he was more concerned for her than it was very unusual. And then when I felt I had done a fabulous job. I mean, I really did fabulous. I calmed that woman down. Swamiji could relax like then. Swamiji looked at me, and I really, now looking back, he could see like I just wasn't getting it, what he was trying to do with me. I wasn't getting it. And he said, you know, I think you should go back to her, sit next to her, and don't move until we are about to, embark, go inside the plane. Just stay with her. And of course, Swamiji told me with that conviction, with that, like I just had no choice. I mean, by then, it hit me like there is something else going on here that I'm not getting it. Okay, so let me just feel it out what is going on, because 3 times going there is just too much. So I went there, and I remember telling to myself, to my higher self, like, just be 100% with her, give it your all. Just be present. And that's your role. That's what Swamiji is asking me to do. The moment I step into that new consciousness that I wasn't, the moment I step into that consciousness, I literally felt like my heart like physically opened up, and I started experience a joy that I hadn't felt before nor since in that particular setting. And I remember having this intuitive realization of this is how Swamiji feels when he talks is with people all the time. This is how he feels. This is what it means to be a pure channel, when you step out of the way and you allow the divine to use you, to support, to uplift, to be with others wholeheartedly. So that's the story. Years later, as I was going through this story, a deeper realization came to me, which is not in the book because, of course, understanding comes as years go by. Swamiji sent me 3 times, not just because my own magnetism and ability to serve wholeheartedly wasn't there, but because it's not enough to do something because someone tells you to do it. That was the first time I did it because Swami told me to do it. It's not enough to do it because you think you are doing a good job. And then
Interesting.
and it's not enough to do something and feel good just because you are physically present there. It's not even enough to feel you are doing well just because your body is there. It's only good enough when you are with your entire being in that what you are doing. Only then you can step into higher realms of consciousness. You see, so many of us, even on the path, we do things because Master said, do this or so. So we naturally do it because Master says. We go to a satsang because is the right thing to do. It's not enough just physically be in a satsang. Only when you wholeheartedly are there in body, mind, soul, at the cellular level, only then we are opening to deeper levels of realization, experiences, and states of consciousness. So for me, I think that story, until this day, is teaching me things.
Thank you, Nayayani. You're just,
Thank you.
you are such a channel. And so powerful. Just,
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to spend time with you guys. It's always nice to be
it is.
wholeheartedly with my family in Dallas.
It feels like you definitely were fully present with us. And I just have one little question. Will you be coming to the centennial celebration? Do you know?
I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope so.
Okay, because then maybe more of us can see you in person wholeheartedly again. And I just wanted to find out if that was, I know it's a little ways off and everything, but
Sorry, Kirtani is calling me. 1 second. Because now Lakshman is here, and I think we are going to have a little gathering with Kirtani and Lakshman. And
okay.
so after this, but I said after this satsang.
Well, thank you so much for everything. And we'd like to end with, you guys, we're going to close now. We'd like to end with our just oming you and our own personal way we say goodbye. Mallory, we're about to say goodbye. So let's all rub our hands and we'll chant Om 3 times. Just sending the blessings that we've received back to Nayayani and out into the world. Om.